Hello everybody, I think that we're about ready to get started. I think all the folks that we need are here, so welcome. Hello, my name is Pam Supernaut. I work here at the YMCA, and I will be your MC for a short bit during this program. I'd like to start with a quote from Mother Teresa, and she said, "If you can't feed 100, just feed one." I think that's a little fitting for today as we're getting near 1 million meals, but it really was done one meal at a time, and no meal is as important as the next meal, I think, for our families. And it has to be said that while today is a milestone and we're really excited about celebrating it, I think it's bittersweet because ultimately ending childhood hunger is our goal and eradicating it altogether. So in the interim, we're doing what we can for as long as we can. And with that, we'll get started. And I'd like to introduce David Connell. He is the president and CEO of the YMCA of Central Massachusetts.
Good morning to everyone, and thank you, Pam, for your introduction. And it's so great to be here on a lovely Tuesday morning in the city of Worcester, right in the heart, we consider, of the main south area within our region. I'm David Connell, the president and CEO of the YMCA of Central Massachusetts, and we think today is really a great day, and in terms of the work that we are doing within our communities, really the uplifting of the communities together. What started out as just the idea of looking right out through our windows and during the midst of the pandemic and the early stages and saying, where would a need take place? Where would we need to interject some of the work that we are doing across our YMCA? Pam just shared very quickly in the fact that we take one meal at a time, but when we speak of the YMCA and the work that's being done, we transcend from when we closed our doors back in March, just for a short period of time, a matter of days. We were involved with emergency child care work. We followed that up in terms of delivering meals to a very small segment of individuals. The summertime, it was camp programs. We had physical fitness for our members. We expanded our work to feeding the homeless within various communities. And we continue to work, and even today and on last Saturday, right within our parking lots, we were distributing vaccine and actually had the largest vaccine clinic for non-appointments 2 weeks ago. But I want to say that this program in itself, and the Congressman, we thank you so much for your support through the years and through the months, and really always really being deep within our community. But one of the things that I really want to touch on is the fact that as we talk about reaching the plateau of early level of reaching 1 million meals being served, it wasn't done by the YMCA alone. It was done with a number of partners, and you will hear about how we reached that particular area. But it's really a tremendous milestone because we realized when we looked through our windows, we saw a gap. A gap was that there were people that needed to receive meals, and we wanted to find a way to how we do that. And the way we approached it was that we had vans, and we had volunteers, and we had a community around us, and we took all the resources that we needed and worked together in doing so. So our community started to build together, and the meals continue to go out every day. And then we realized on Fridays that we need to take care of Saturdays and Sundays, and we continue to do that. So we took the story around leveraging what we had within our communities. It's not one individual, it's a collective family working together. And we are so blessed in the city of Worcester of having collaborators across every aspect of what we do. And it's so easy, we believe, over the years now to pick up the telephone and call someone and say, here's where the need happens to be. And that's what's working for us. So this morning we celebrate together. We know that there are a number of folks who provided funding, and we want to thank them for doing so. But the work isn't done. We know that this is just a small step that will continue for several months thereafter, and we need to be there for them. So thank you for being here this morning, and as we continue to hear the story, it's about all of us uplifting our communities together, one step at a time, one meal at a time, one community growing at a time. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Next up, I'd like to introduce Donna Lombardi. She is the Director of Nutrition Services for Worcester Public Schools. And she and her team have literally been standing shoulder to shoulder with us through this program since it started. Donna?
I can't thank the Y and all of the community collaborators that we had that assisted us during the time that the pandemic occurred. The pandemic occurred abruptly. We had to pivot abruptly into numerous different feeding systems based on USDA waivers that were fed through the federal government and Congressman McGovern's lead. And the Y stepping up to the plate and working together to provide another outlet to deliver the meals. It's one thing to procure all of the foods, hopefully all the fresh fruits and vegetables that are available for families. And then there's the logistics of actually delivering them. And we actually could not have accomplished what we accomplished in a widespread swath, meeting the needs of the nutritional needs of the community without the different various community partnerships, including the YMCA, all their volunteers, and working diligently, continuously, week by week as the environment changed. And I am eternally grateful for having this opportunity that I don't think has ever occurred before in any of my 30 years working in school nutrition. So I'd like to thank you. Thank you, Pam.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you so much, Donna. Next, I'd like to introduce Tim Garvin. He is the president and CEO of the United Way of Central Massachusetts. He is a great supporter and advocate for the YMCA in general, but particularly this program. Tim?
So this morning is a morning about thanks, and this number is phenomenal. But maybe you're like me. I got up at 5 o'clock this morning. I turned on the heat because it was a little chilly. I put coffee on. I walked and fed the dog. I got a bowl of cereal. I had my coffee. I put milk on the cereal, and I took all of that for granted. Because of the YMCA, because of my friend Jim McGovern, because of Worcester Public Schools, close to 3,000 families every day have that same take it for granted ability because of this collaboration. And it's only when people work together that we're able to do this. Pull your cell phones out, divide 1 million meals by 375 days, and you realize how many people every day were being served by the YMCA. It is a day of thanks, it is a day of partnership, and we are deeply proud to be here and to do all we can to continue to support this program and all of the good that's happening in Worcester. Thank you all.
Thanks so much, Tim. And it is a day for volunteers as well. Next, I'd like to introduce Yvette Dyson. She is the Executive Director of Worcester Common Ground by day, but the YMCA loves the part where she is the chairman of our branch board of directors, and she is invaluable to us, and she makes sure that we are a part of the community that we serve. Yvette?
Thank you, Pam. Good afternoon, everyone. This is really a special moment, our $1 million day. Last year, Pam called me, and as we speak almost every day and see each other every morning when I come in to work out, and she said, Yvette, we need to feed our community. So, can you call all your residents and can you make an Excel sheet and we'll figure out how to get food out to at least the immediate neighborhood. And that was sort of our little pilot. And you know, I thought, wow, we're paying the leasing fees on these vans. At least we could utilize them because we couldn't bring children anywhere. So the Y went into action like only the Y does. And they filled up vans, they removed the seats from the vans, and volunteers from everywhere appeared. And only Pam at first could drive because she had the license. So the first pictures that I received were of Pam delivering food to my residents. So it was very touching, and our residents could not be more grateful. And Tim, as you say, we do take food for granted, and guilty of that myself. And this has been an incredible opportunity. And kids come to the Y with food in their bellies and able to function better. And every kid deserves a meal before they come to school. so that they are at the same playing level as those who can eat freely. So thank you and congratulations. Beautiful job.
And Yvette is a little shy, but I will say that she also volunteers and everything. So she said, hey, I think I want to go one day and volunteer and drive. So we gave her a list of addresses and she got her own volunteers and ran out and delivered food herself. Thank you. So certainly we're all here, and I'd like to welcome next Congressman McGovern. Anti-hunger work is the cornerstone of what he does for all of us in Washington. And I think I'm so happy that he's here to shine a light on the need in the city of Worcester, but also tell us a little bit about what he's doing at the Commonwealth and in the country around food insecurity. So, Congressman McGovern.
So, thank you, Pam. And they say it takes a village, and it really does. And I want to thank everybody who has already spoken. I also want to thank Carolyn Stempler with the Worcester Community Foundation for all of her incredible support. I want to thank all my friends here at the YMCA for the remarkable work that you do to help build stronger and healthier communities. I'm always amazed at all the work that you do, whether that's feeding hungry children, providing safe spaces for kids to learn, especially during this COVID crisis, running health and wellness programs for all ages. I've been here riding a bike to try to set an example that we all should exercise. This is a place where wonderful things happen, and so I'm really grateful to be here. This meals program is just another example of how the Y is rising to the challenge to meet the needs of the community in these very, very difficult times. This pandemic has highlighted the disparities that exist in our country and in our community, the inequities. They were always there, but the pandemic just made everything worse. And the Y has always been out front trying to combat these disparities. I also want to recognize the terrific people at the Worcester Public WPS School Nutrition Program. Donna Lombardi is exceptional. She and her staff amaze me with their dedication and their commitment to not only providing kids healthy meals, but to eliminating hunger in our community. Tim Garvin and the United Way, and you see his shirt, Worcester Together, have been unbelievable during this crisis, coordinating support with community-based agencies and getting everybody to step up and to do their part. This program is a great example of how a community can come together to have a great public-private partnership that is now about to serve its 1 millionth meal to kids here in our city. That's amazing. Think about that number for a moment. 1 million meals delivered to people's homes is truly amazing. It also points out how important it is that we have programs like the USDA School Lunch Program, SNAP, and other nutrition programs to address the issue of hunger here in our community and our country. And I applaud the Y for its leadership. Again, Pam and David, thank you for all that you do. Yvette, thank you so much for what you have done. Even before this crisis hit, you were out front trying to make sure that thousands of kids in this neighborhood, had a healthy meal. You understand the moral imperative of making sure that no child in our country goes hungry. And the good news is we're making some progress. The good news is this community has come together. The good news is that we're making this announcement here today. But we have a lot more to do. Let me just close with this. I have spent an awful lot of time on this issue in Congress. We live in the richest country in the history of the world. Yet as we speak, over 40 million Americans don't know where the next meal is going to come from. There's not a city or town in the United States of America that's hunger-free. We have hunger here in Worcester. There's hunger in every city and town in Massachusetts and all across the country. Not a congressional district in this country is hunger-free. And it's something I'm ashamed of. We all talk about how we take food for granted. But as a public servant, as a United States Congressman, the idea that this problem still exists in this country should make us all feel ashamed. and we need to do something about it. This community came together and responded to a crisis, but we need to do a hell of a lot more. And so I chair the Rules Committee, and tomorrow we officially kick off a nationwide campaign aimed at getting the Biden administration to do a White House conference on food, nutrition, and hunger. I will coordinate. Tomorrow is our first hearing in the Rules Committee, but the next several months we will do a series of hearings, field hearings, as well as hearings in Washington, talking to people with lived experiences, because too often a lot of policy is made by not talking to those, without talking to those who are directly impacted. We're going to do the homework for the Biden administration so that hopefully early next year we can do a White House conference, and it will be more than a press release. It'll be a conference that outlines a roadmap on how we can not just how we can eliminate hunger and not simply manage it. And the reason why we're doing it this way is because these issues that we're all trying to address here today fall under the jurisdiction of multiple committees. Not one committee that deals with hunger or nutrition. Same with the executive branch. Not one agency deals with hunger and nutrition. And yet we haven't been able to bring everybody together. This is an effort to connect the dots, to bring everybody together, and to live up to our moral obligation to end hunger in this country. I'll just say this finally. If you've ever met a child who is hungry, it breaks your heart. And I've met too many kids in this city and in my district who are hungry. And it keeps me awake at night. It just shouldn't be. I tell people all the time that hunger is a political condition. We have the food, we have the money, we have the infrastructure, we have the know-how, we have everything but the political will. We are going to build that political will, and we're going to use what is happening here in Worcester as an example to the rest of the country of what we can do when we work together. So again, I thank everybody who's been part of this effort, and I look forward to seeing the millionth meal delivered today, and I look forward to continuing to work with all of you to make our community and our country a better place. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman McGovern, and he's absolutely right. There is a lot of work left to do, and actually there's a lot of work left to do today. So we actually have had one of our YMCA vans stop in the middle of their delivery routes. They're outside. We're going to meet the driver and the volunteer, and then deliver a meal or two together, because there's a lot of meals to deliver today. So thank you guys so much for coming. Have a great day, and please let's keep feeding those kids.